Hey guys, what's going on? I wanted to do this little video just showing you guys something that I discovered. And I know a lot of you have these little tools as well, these rescue hooks or strap cutters, whatever you want to call them. And I just wanted to share with you this little method that I've devised to sharpen these pretty effectively. It's a pretty effective and reliable method. Is it the best? No, it's not. But it does work, and just wanted to kind of show you in this video. Now, when you get these out of the box, they are absolutely just razor ridiculous sharp. You know, but it still lacked a little bit for me, just personally. You guys know how I like my edge. So I wanted to kick it up to the next level, so I touched it up. But I also wanted to try to devise a way where if I was using this a lot and I needed to touch it up and keep it sharp, how I could do so. And I was trying out with my Spyderco sharp maker on the little ceramic rods, and it was okay, but it was very uneven. So I devised this little trick, I guess you could say, to keeping up with the edge on these rescue cutters. Now this method will work on a wide variety of rescue hook / strap cutters. I'm just so happen to be using the Benchmade Model Rescue 5 because it's the only one I have. This was also requested by Timons1. He wanted to see a video on how to sharpen these because I said in one of my last videos that I devised a way to sharpen these. So I'm going to show you, like I said, this isn't the most orthodox or best method to sharpen these, but it's the most effective way I've found so far. And I'm not going to actually try to sharpen it because I already have it to a level of sharpness that I'm satisfied with right now. And like I said, it is a very hit or miss type of thing. Just fiddle around with it and practice with it and you'll get pretty good at it. You know, because this is a different method of sharpening. But like I said, this is a tool that you might have to rely on in the time of need. This tool might need to save your life or the life of someone else. So you're going to need this edged tool to be as sharp as it possibly can be. Now it's already really sharp, but like I said, if you just want to take it to the next level, or if it starts getting dull after you've been using it a while and you need to touch it up, here's how you can do it. You ready? All you need is, that's kind of hard to see, this is sandpaper. Variety, it's Norton's. It's wet sandpaper. Now what I mean by that is it's waterproof sandpaper. You're supposed to wet the media or wet the sandpaper and then wipe it down. You know, the water collects all the fibers or particles of what you're sanding, and it kind of washes it away from the main material that you're sanding. So you get a very, very clean, even sanding surface. So this is a 600 grit, and the camera's pushed right up to the table, so I can't really, you know, I can't show you full frame. I'm just kind of put it to the side here. All you need is that. Here's a sheet of it that I had been using. It's 600 grit. A lot of people use sandpaper to sharpen knives. So, excuse me, Gavco, that's all he uses is sandpaper to sharpen his knives, and you see how sharp they get. So, all you need is sandpaper. Like I said, these already come really sharp. So you don't need anything higher or lower grit than that. And the lower in the grit you get, the more abrasive the sandpaper is going to be. Just in case you guys don't know about sandpaper. But you know, if you were to use a 600 grit, or a 60 grit, you're just going to ruin the edge. That's for like forming an edge if you needed to. But anyway, these are already sharp. All you're doing is kind of reshaping the edge. / creating a micro bevel. So you're going to need a very high grit sandpaper. 600 is it's a moderately high grit. You could go to 1,000 if you wanted, but all right. So this is what I use. So 600 grit sandpaper, a pencil, and a little bit of masking duck or just painter's tape. What you're going to do, I'm going to show you what I did. Actually, you just make a little tube with it. Take the pencil, you wrap the sandpaper around the pencil, pull it tight, and just tape the edge together, and it makes this little tube. You can, I have some, I think this is 300 grit sandpaper. You can also use that, but that's not really necessary. So I'm just gonna roll off a piece and just show you guys real quick, like, not hard to do at all. Just break off a little piece of, or rip off a piece of sandpaper. And just roll it around the pencil. Doesn't really matter how thick. You don't have to get it perfectly straight either. It doesn't really matter. And then just get a little bit of tape. You just want a little piece of tape because you just want enough so that that doesn't come apart. Anyway, there you go. And if you don't want that little flap up top, you can just kind of reverse it and just use this end. But I know that's a poor representation, but that's just a basic demonstration how to do this. I'm going to just put on the one that I had already made. All you're going to do is, like I said, this is going to take some trial and error for you to get it perfect, and just test the edge, do a few swipes, test the edge until you have a satisfactory edge. But basically, like I said, I'm not going to show you exactly how to do it because I don't want to sharpen it any further. But just take an edge that's fairly, or a piece of the sandpaper that's fairly flat and smooth. I'm going to use this end actually. And all you're going to do is just line the tube up with the grind, just the same angle as the grind, and you're just going to swipe back and forth. And you're going to move kind of like an in and out motion, and you're also going to do it and then go back and forth because you're going to want to get those edges, the front and back edges, because that's going to be mostly what's cutting. So just try to keep a consistent angle, you know, just going back and forth, and that is going to give you a nice edge. Like I said, keep playing around with it, try to change up the angle a little bit if it's not working, and this is going to be a poor representation of how sharp this is. It's a strap cutter, but you know, it will cut paper. It was kind of a crappy cut, wasn't it? There we go. So, you know, excuse me. This is chisel ground. So what you're going to want to do after you can do as many swipes as you want. I would, you know, just do that a few good times for about 30 seconds. Not really counting strokes, just going back and forth. And then you'll want to turn it over and just kind of give a few strokes going this way, away from the edge. The reason why you do that is because it's chisel ground. You're going to sharpen that edge where the grind line is, and it's going to make the steel roll over. And it's hard to tell, but you're going to form a burr. And just by giving a few good swipes on the opposite side of that edge, on the flat side of the grind, you're going to even out the edge a little bit. That's just basic sharpening tip there when you think chisel ground. But yeah, that's all you're going to do, guys. Just take a pencil. It doesn't even have to be a pencil. Just any kind of cylindrical dowel. Like if you had a wooden dowel, that would work too. Didn't have one. I had a pencil laying around. And it just so happens that this is the same width, pretty much, as that strap, as the hook. So it just fits in there perfectly. You're able to manipulate it, and you know, like I said, just mess around with it, and of course clean the debris out, but be very, very careful, because if your finger were to come back, it's going to slice some major skin off. You got to wipe the edge clean, and you could use oil with this. Actually, I'd recommend using oil. A little bit of oil or a drop of water. Doesn't really matter which. Just make sure you clean that off really well, because this is not a stainless steel. It's a high carbon steel. So, just very simple, guys. Like I said, all you need is a pencil or a wooden dowel, any kind of cylindrical object. A pen would also work. Just anything cylindrical like that. Some 600 grit sandpaper. Like I said, you want to use 600 because it's not so abrasive that if you overdo it, you're going to damage the edge. It just refines the edge, because the edge is already sharp. Now, if the edge goes completely dull, which I don't see it happening with, you know, normal use, because you're only going to be using this to cut leather, clothing, plastic straps every now and then. Like I said, given the person, some people might use this every day. So in that case, you will want to use something like a 300 grit sandpaper, and do the same steps. Just swipe it back and forth on that edge, take that off, and then put on the 600 grit. And then if you want to go beyond that, use 1000 grit sandpaper. You'd get an insane edge that way. And you can strop it the same way I just showed you. Take your strop. If you have a long strip of rawhide leather, you want to fold it over so that it's kind of like this, and just run the loop through it, and that's how you can strop it. So yeah, guys, like I said, this may not be new. Somebody else might have already done this. This is just a way that I discovered the other day on how to keep up with the edge on my strap cutter. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this could help some of you if you're wondering maybe, you know, and you were afraid to use your strap cutter or something, you know, or if you're afraid to buy one because you wouldn't know how to sharpen it. There's my little quick, easy way to keep up with the edge. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed, I hope this helped you, and if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments, guys. Alright, have a great rest of your day, stay safe, stay sharp, and God bless. Sherman614, peace.